Let's freaking go! LSU football chatter all day, every day, baby. It's PHL Nation. It is official for the 2024 college football season. LSU will play USC in the season opener on Sunday. So it will be the third consecutive year that LSU plays on a Sunday night to start the year. And once again, last year, of course, played Florida State on a Sunday. This year, I am pretty sure that LSU is playing Florida State on a Sunday. And then, of course, next year, or the next year, if you will, 2024, LSU versus USC on a Sunday. So, what does that mean exactly for you? Well, for me, it means something very simple. LSU's college football playoff run looks to be at its highest priority next year. I know I didn't say that smoothly at all, but the simple truth is this: college football has as much to do about who you play than how many games you win. And what's very interesting about college football, I've been doing a deep dive today, and some of you have seen this on Power Hour SEC. I did a head coaching ranking, and I have been getting a lot of heat from a certain fan base that also shares a mascot from the cat background, right? Of course, we're Tigers. And I'm not talking about Missouri. I'm not talking about Auburn. I'm talking about Kentucky. What's very interesting is I started doing a deep dive into all the SEC programs. And the one program to me that is by far the most fraudulent is Kentucky. And the reason why I'm bringing them up at the beginning is because Kentucky rarely challenges themselves out of conference, and they always play easy games to start the season. So, what I am bringing up to you, the LSU Tiger fan, is understand that this next couple of years, LSU's first game out of the gate will be against a top 15 team, right? I know USC will lose Caleb Williams. He'll be gone by then, but more than likely under Lincoln Riley, they're still going to be really good. They'll have Malachi Nelson, a 5-star, starting his first game versus us. But the truth is this: if you're Brian Kelly and you see that these season openers are the way that they are, you have got to make sure your team is firing on all cylinders out of the gate. And obviously, last year in our matchup, it was very evident that Florida State had an advantage with the week 0 game. And we were just a team that wasn't at our peak. We were playing players that no longer were starters after the first couple of weeks of the season. So, this is what the USC game means to me. I know we're excited because USC is finally going to settle the 2003 debate. And a lot of the 30 and over viewers that are watching this, and more so the 40 and over viewers, you remember 2003. You remember how fraudulent people made out that national championship for us under Nick Saban, that we didn't have to play the mighty USC Trojans in 2003, and everyone made a big deal about that. Now, this is the first time we'll have played USC in forever, and we finally, in a way, get to settle this debate while not really settling the 2003 debate. So, there you go. I'm really excited about it, and I am super glad that it is still a part of what we're going to have moving forward. I'm really excited about USC being a part of our schedule. Something else that I want to bring up about the USC game that I find to be very interesting is we are moving towards the Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC in 2024. So the schedule that is set in place for 2024 is more than likely going to change. And I don't know if the USC game, or excuse me, the UCLA game, for those that don't know, in 2024, we also have UCLA on our schedule. I don't know if that is going to survive. So we'll see how that happens. We say hi to Simper. We say hi to Chance. We say hi to Jordan, Tyler, Skipper, lots of patrons. Jacob, I think everybody that has commented so far is already a member of the PHL Patreon. I freaking love that. Look at that. Good stuff. So I want to I want to shout out LSU and the scheduling brass for keeping USC on the schedule. Now, once again, LSU is going to get paid a pretty hefty amount of money to play this game versus USC in a neutral site. Vegas and the tourism department knows how many LSU fans are going to flood Vegas for this game. And I get it. Vegas is about to make a lot of money with LSU fans coming there. I got to start planning the PHL get together for Vegas because I absolutely love the city. So I might go ahead and book my travel for that one. So already look forward to a PHL get together for Vegas in 2024. I know many of you are excited about that. The poll question is up. Which do you like better, March Madness or the college football playoff / bowl season? I should just say the college football bowl season, including the playoff. Type M for March Madness. Type C for college football playoff or bowl season. Okay? Let me know. Jordan, need to come stay with you in Albuquerque, man. Vegas is what? I've made that drive. How far is Vegas from Albuquerque? It's probably not that far, to be honest. Max says the college football playoff. What's up, Hal? I know Hal's going to say March Madness. He is a huge college basketball fan. We say hi to Steven, we say hi to Brandon. Abby Celestin. I got my bachelor's at LSU and then received my master's at USC. Now I live in Vegas, 2 blocks away from Allegiant Stadium. Show some clap emojis for this. This is absolutely insane. I got my bachelor's from LSU, received your master's at USC, and you live 2 blocks away. That is pretty freaking crazy. It's also kind of cool you live that close to a stadium, which has its pluses and minuses. My aunt lives a block away from the Washington Nationals ballpark. Like you literally walk out of her door and you see the ballpark. And it's not quite a block. It's like kind of a longer street, but you could just walk up to it. That is absolutely crazy. I think Hal is one of the few in here that actually likes college basketball more than college football. I have no problem with that at all. A lot of the best college football writers are like that as well. I know a lot of people. Aaron Torres, he's not been on the channel yet. He's a national writer for Fox Sports. He's one of my best buds in the media game. And he's like that. College basketball is great. March Madness is great. I will say this. I can sit and watch a day full of March Madness games. The first 2 days of the tournament, I like better than the college football bowl season. I do. Okay, the first 2 days of the tournament. All right. The first thing that I like is nobody's opting out, right? College football bowl season, we got to call a spade a spade. I still love the bowl season. I think we need more bowls, not less. People opt out, though. It takes away from it just a little bit. And also, I am a nerd when it comes to college brands and college athletics. Okay. So as many of you know, one of my uncles died just a few weeks ago. And he transitioned, fought an illness for a long time. And he was a graduate of Princeton. So I know up above he was watching today, And I know he was ecstatic that his alma mater pulled off the upset. So you have these 68 brands that come together for this tournament. That's awesome. That is freaking awesome. I freaking love that. I love the fact that Colgate, I don't know where the hell Colgate is located, but Colgate is a thing. Okay. Vermont, the Catamounts are playing Marquette. The one thing I love about college basketball are these brand schools that have no state in their title. You have no idea where they're located. You don't. Huh? 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 I freaking love that. Right now, could someone tell me where Princeton is located? I'm serious. Can someone tell me where it is? You don't. It's hard. You got all these schools. That's why I like college basketball schools that are just college basketball schools. Like, I have no idea how Villanova didn't make the tournament this year, but they lost their coach. So, I love the Villanovas. I love these schools that aren't known for football, but basketball is their thing, right? That's why I am super pissed that Alabama is the team to beat. And as great as the updates were today, um, the upsets, excuse me, Alabama has the cleanest run to the Final Four of any one seed, maybe ever. The bracket that they were in was already weak. And then also, Furman. I appreciate this, Max. Yeah, it was from a few weeks ago, but today was a good celebration for a lot of my family. So a majority of my dad's side of the family went to Howard. And I thought for a second Howard was going to play Kansas tough. Kansas doesn't have Bill Self. And when Bill Self didn't coach versus Texas, they lost by like 30. So I was like, maybe Howard has a shot to pull a 16-1 or whatever, but they didn't. So a lot of my family went to Howard, and my one of my uncles went to Princeton. So I was cheering for the upsets today, even though my brackets said otherwise. And I just love like some of the weirdness of the brackets. Like Tony Bennett has won 6 NCAA tournament games, and they were all in one season. This guy gets upset in the first round every year. And something else, I'm somewhat affiliated with Furman because the radio station I fill in for, the Fan Upstate in South Carolina, they are located close to Furman University, or is it the University of Furman? I don't know. But the Paladins, the only reason I know they're in South Carolina is because I'm a radio host in that area. I would have no idea where Furman is, and would have no idea who the hell the Paladins are. How many of you have ever heard of a Paladin? And that's what excites me, right? But no, we got these football schools that have elite programs now. Alabama. Come on. Really? Alabama, the 1 year they don't make the playoff. The 1 year. This is the most spoiled fan base. The 1 year they don't make the playoffs, they survive this unreal controversy and have by far one of the best teams we've seen in the SEC, especially since those 80 and Devin Booker Kentucky teams. They have by far the best team since then. And they're heavy favorites to get to the Final Four. It's unfair. It is totally unfair. The sports gods are cruel, right? Billy Napier was a quarterback at Furman. That's right. The Paladin Nation. Let's go. Princeton is in Princeton, New Jersey. There you go. Jordan knows where all these schools are. Colgate, upstate New York. I love it. Yeah. But I think as an LSU fan, you're not allowed to pick Alabama to win it all. I just will not allow it. If Alabama wins it all, or if they're getting ready to shoot a game-winning shot at the buzzer to win it all, I am running onto the court and blocking it. Like, we can't have Alabama winning a national championship. You can't have it. Now, a few other things. I prefer March Madness the first 2 days. The rest of it is still really good. I still watch all of it, but as many of you know, these 14, 15 upsets outside of Florida Gulf Coast and the school from last year, coached by Shaheen Holloway. What was the name of the school? I've totally forgot the name of the school. St. Mary, or no, not St. Mary. Come on. The team that made the run to the Final Four last year, the Elite Eight. They got beat by North Carolina in the Elite Eight. They played in like a gym that only holds like 500 people for their home game. St. Peter's, okay? When they made their run last year. Those runs rarely happen. So I like watching all these schools. It is just so cool, like that all these schools play this sport that is this worldwide phenomenon, and maybe 1% of them play professional basketball, maybe, of the NCAA tournament, and yeah, it's really cool. It's really, really cool, especially when you see them beating a national champion like Virginia. It's just so cool. It's just so cool. But anyway, yeah, they beat Kentucky in the first round last year. God, that was so sweet. That was so sweet. But yeah, I'm just going to let you know. So on Monday, I am going to release a video on the Kentucky Wildcat football program. Okay. I have nothing against Kentucky football. Nothing against them at all. But they are the most cowardly football program in terms of challenging yourselves in the non-conference, as far as playing tough teams. They don't do it. They don't do it. And I understand that they recruit not well, not like us, not like Georgia, not like Alabama. I'm not asking them to win a national championship. But what I'll tell you is when you actually go look at the data and you actually go look at the tenure under Mark Stoops, I don't remember an SEC coach that every year gets slapped in all of our faces that he is just this great coach. When you actually look at it, he's not really that great. Like he's solid. He made Kentucky better than what they were, but it is ridiculous how much luck he has had to get to where he is now. And everybody needs good luck. It's just so I think there's not as much magic behind what he has done than people let it out to be. But I'll save that for a video next week. I have a feeling it will get some traction because Kentucky fans are going to want to hear it. And part of why Kentucky doesn't get called out for this stuff is they're a basketball school, right? It is just amazing how much, the brand stuff actually matters, right? Like, for instance, if Mark Richt had the same success he had at Kentucky, he would still be the coach at Kentucky, right? But because he's at Georgia, they're ready to move on to Kirby Smart because they knew they can get into bigger and better things. Kentucky sees that they have hit their ceiling, but to me, their ceiling is capped, if you will, because they just don't challenge themselves. And if any Kentucky fan is watching this right now, tell me right now, what is Mark Stoops' signature win? What is the one win that would knock everybody's socks off? And you really can't name one, especially since 2019. There's just not any that makes you go, wow, that was truly impressive. You can't find it. Trust me, I've looked for it. You can't find it. 2018 in the Swamp was really good. They beat the Lamar Jackson team in 2016. That was good. They beat Penn State, a really good Penn State team, in the 2018 bowl game, but they had Matt House in. So, I don't know. But we move on. So it's interesting. LSU did not make the NCAA tournament. All right. And with all due respects to Hal, who is a season ticket holder at LSU, no one is overly mad about this. Obviously, I am personally not too happy about it. I want LSU basketball for the Taz and Mitchells and all of that to get back into the NCAA tournament. I think that would be great. But honestly, people are just like, okay, it is what it is. We got Kim Mulkey. We got the baseball team. So tell me this in the chat right now. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. You are furious. That LSU men's basketball is not in the NCAA tournament. It enrages you. If LSU isn't bowl eligible, that would enrage me, right? Now, I know a lot of you bring up that Florida win. And yeah, in 2018 in particular, they went to the Swamp and beat a really good Florida team. And they've beaten them a few times since, including in the Swamp, last year. But yeah, it's just not okay, and what else? What else? I'm serious. Tell me what else. Did you know Kentucky is the only team, the only team to not play a non-conference game versus a Power 5 team in the first month of the season in forever? They never do it. Every other team in the SEC, they do it every now and then. Kentucky's the only one. So all their seasons start really soft. They normally play Florida in the beginning of the year, but it's sandwiched by some other teams that just really aren't great. They play a lot of Eastern Michigan and Eastern Kentucky and Northern Illinois. So it's not like a Memphis or Cincinnati or a football team that puts guys into the NFL. They don't play those teams hardly ever. They play the softest SEC schedule pretty much every year, and it's pretty amazing that no one brings that up. More upset they fired Wade. Oh, I don't know if we're gonna get into another Will Wade debate tonight. LA Mom says they don't really care for b-ball. Sipper says they don't really care for basketball. Yeah, I mean, teach your own. That's why I keep it LSU football just here. The year Kentucky had to play a wide receiver quarterback was a great coaching job. Yeah, the Lynn Bowden team. Now, what I will say is Lynn Bowden was a better quarterback, even though he wasn't really playing quarterback. He was still the better quarterback than most SEC quarterbacks just running the Wildcat. Lynn Bowden was so special. And look, Kentucky's had, honestly, quite a few extraordinary players. And I'm not just saying decent, extraordinary. They have Benny Snell, Wandale Robinson. I mean, they've had good pieces. It's just, I've done a lot of research on this today. It's just amazing how much luck has gone into the Stoops tenure. So here's something else that really stood out to me. Kentucky won 10 games in 2021. Okay. And 9 of the teams that they beat did not have a winning record. Let me repeat. They played 10 games in 2021. They won 10 games. 9 of them were against a team without a winning record. Now think about that. This is not college basketball. This is college football, where in the SEC you play a lot of teams that have unbalanced schedules, right? So, a lot of teams have winning records in the SEC. Most SEC teams go bowling, right? They did not beat a single team on the schedule with a winning record. They barely beat Chattanooga. And people celebrate that 10-win season. I'm like, they didn't beat anybody. The only winning record on their schedule, they beat Iowa in a bowl game where Iowa decided to punt on 4th and inches to win the game. One play, win the game. Kentucky didn't have any timeouts left. They punted it. Kentucky was able to go score the game-winning play. Now, you give them credit to find a way to win. So there you go. Not really impressive to me. Like, I am more impressed with signature victories. Who have you beaten? And there just isn't a big one with Mark Stoops. Not one that just makes you go, wow. Let's go to Black Goatee. Good to see you. Hey, guys, just wanted to pop in and say hi. I'll be back more consistently when booking wedding season ends. You are a big-time photographer. If you haven't already joined Carter's Patreon, we have some juicy convos from time to time. There you go. I know I pump the Patreon a lot. It's a fun place to be. It's only $9.99 a month. You get to have a private Discord. You also get to chat with me one-on-one if you choose to do so. And all you got to do is reach out to me. I know Forbes is in here. Josh and I've tried to schedule a Zoom with him. He's busy. And he wants to talk sports cards and all that stuff. So if you join the private Discord, you get to chat with me one-on-one. Now, if you don't want to do that and you still want to join the Discord Patreon, feel free to do so. Some people choose not to do it. That's fine with me. But yeah, I post some extra Patreon footage. There was some extra footage from practice that did not make our initial spring practice breakdown. And that footage is exclusive on patreon.com/LSU. My breakdown of it is exclusive. Okay. So LSU, patreon.com/LSU football. So Forbes, so has to do his one-on-one. I did a one-on-one recently with Hal. I know Jordan and I are probably going to schedule one soon. So when you join the Patreon, understand that. Just reach out to me, and we're going to get you all set up, ready to go. So, yeah. I've said I just said hello to you. We got to get our one-on-one schedule, and we've got to get some sports card chatter going. So this is my thing, is they do play Louisville every year, okay? So there are 3 teams in the SEC. Now, once again, all of this is going to change with the 9-game conference schedule in Texas and Oklahoma joining, okay? So, no, man, I actually just singled you out just now. It's all good, man. I try not to ignore everyone. It gets crazy here. Kentucky has not played the Big 12, Big 10, or Pac-12 in regular season. They just play Louisville. You're right. And that's my issue is they don't play anybody. And they're one of 3 schools that has a non-conference permanent rivalry. Okay. One of 3 schools in the SEC that has a non-conference permanent rivalry. Okay. The other 2 are Florida, who plays Florida State at the end of every year, and South Carolina, who plays Clemson at the end of every year. So 2 programs that are way better than Louisville. Okay. And those schools still from time to time will schedule an extra non-conference Power 5 game. Kentucky never does it. Do you know how not unfair it is? They're just playing by the rules. But if my thing is, if you make a big deal out of how good Mark Stoops is doing and how good of a coach he is, then you've got to bring that up. You've got to. It's part of it. You have been there 10 years and you are the AD, whoever it is. How cool would it be to see Kentucky go to Coral Gables and play Miami every now and then? Go to the Horseshoe and play Ohio State, or go to Happy Valley for a more even matchup, if you will, versus Penn State, or play a non-conference series with Iowa. They won't do it. They won't do it. So get to making yourselves a better program, level up, and don't just play Louisville every year, right? LSU, Texas, no problem, home and home. USC, no problem, let's do it. UCLA, no problem, home and home. Let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. Okay? Now, I know we have more talent than them and more resources, so it's not quite an apples to apples thing. But what's very interesting is you'll look at some of these other schools that don't have that level of talent. Tennessee, okay? They played BYU in 19. They played a Pitt home and home early in the season. And I truly do believe it is harder to play non-conference games early in the season than later in the year. Now, I'll defend Alabama here. Nobody wants to play Bama, and I don't blame them, right? There really are a few schools that should play Alabama in the non-conference. I get it, okay? But playing Louisville every year just doesn't do anything for me. Louisville has ranked inside the top 30 in recruiting once, and that was this year. They're a consistently outside the top 30 recruiter. Now, they have had excellent quarterback play, right? They had Lamar, one of the best of all time, and then Emily Cunningham, who's been very good for them. But, it's Louisville, right? Their offensive lines are never good. Their defenses, occasionally they'll have a good player. But I'm a big believer. I understand the SEC is the biggest, baddest conference on the planet. But the West is way more difficult than the East. Kentucky's cross-division team has been Mississippi State. That's as easy as it gets if you're an SEC team. 1999 season, Stroh Swift pulled LSU from last place the season before to the SEC Championship Sweet 16 run. I was watching at 12 years old like an addict at PMAC and TV for the NCAA tourney. Yeah, we might not talk about Stroh Swift enough in like the all-time LSU great athletes. I think some of that, Jordan, is and the same is true for Tyrus Thomas. You were a lottery pick, but you didn't really turn out to really do anything. You were a good player, but you didn't do anything in the pros. And also, when it comes to basketball legends, LSU is amongst the nation's best of all time. I would never, ever, ever in a million years argue that LSU is a better basketball program than Duke. But if you put together an all-time starting five, LSU is probably a 3 or 4 point favorite over Duke. If you put together the all-time starting five for LSU versus Duke, and if you era adjust it, obviously, LSU's probably a slight favorite, probably. I guess Duke's all-time starting five if you're just basing it on talent, would be what? Leitner, Hill, Zion, Kyrie Irving, and Elton Brand or Shane Battier. Either one of those. I don't know. Jared, thank you for the super chat. Okay. And then LSU's all-time starting five would be Shaq, Bob Pettit, Pete Maravich. And then the other two, I would guess Chris Jackson would be one of them. And then, would it be Rudy Macklin? Would it be Tyrus Thomas? Maybe? I don't know. So yeah, obviously Duke has us when it comes to athleticism and more modern players. But when you era adjust it, LSU's players are better. Okay. So yeah, I think LSU would probably be a slight favorite, or maybe Duke would be. I don't know. But still, when it comes to individual players, LSU basketball is up there with almost anybody. And, just this past year, Jared, you get to pick any topic. If you want to talk football, let's talk football. Okay. But yeah, Pete Maravich. And yeah, so Chance and I agree. This would be how I would start it. What do you think, Hal? You're an LSU basketball super fan. But yeah, it would be Shaq, Pistol Pete, Chris, and Pettit, and then the fourth. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know JJ Redick is going to old takes expose me here in a second, but there you go. I'm shocked none of you said, what about Ben Simmons and then all-time starting five? Isn't it crazy, though? Isn't that just wild? So LSU has had all of these basketball lottery picks, like all of them. And we've been to what, one Final Four since God knows when? How many I got to go look that up. How many Final Fours has LSU basketball been to? We had the one John Brady run. It was really good. We beat JJ Redick. So we get some Brandon Bass love. Get some Brandon Bass love. We've been to four. One of my best buddies in high school, Scotty Z. He was one of my groomsmen, and he was such a big Duke fan. And we might go to jail for this, but we placed a bet: Duke versus LSU. $5 bet. I was confident. Garrett Temple locked up JJ Redick. Are you freaking kidding me? That run was crazy. You had Mitchell hit that big three versus A&M. That was a fun run. Fun run. But yeah, I think that's why Brandon Bass, who else was really good? Come on, number 5, Marcus. He wore number 5, and he dropped buckets in the NBA for a long time. He played for the Kings. Marcus, he was a recent player. I think he played for Trent Johnson. Marcus Thornton. There you go. And there you are, Forbes. I'm not ignoring you. There you go. There, and Hal, I know you're at every game. Marcus Thornton is also underrated, right? The Bayou Bomber. Marcus Thornton could play. And he was super underrated as a rebounder. I think that was his hidden trait. Yeah, he was quiet though. He didn't have I think part of being an iconic college basketball player is you need to have some swagger, right? You got to have like something about you, right? Like Glenn Big Baby Davis had the nickname. So, Marcus Thornton versus Glenn Big Baby Davis, they're not really that different in terms of who they were as players. Um, I might be totally wrong on that. Someone correct me on that. But Big Baby had the nickname, right? He had the attitude. One guy I think about a lot, and I know this has been like the worst football live stream, but I'm in March Madness mode just for today. Sunday night we'll be back into football mode because practice will be kicked back up. But this is one of my favorite college basketball players of all time. Okay, let's go to Carvis's lineup here. What's up, man? Chris Jackson, Pete Maravich, Rudy Macklin, Bob Pettit, Shaq. That would be sick. Ronald Dupree. I love it. Someone that was crap. I lost my thought because I saw Carvis in there. Got excited. Some of my favorite SEC basketball players. Who remembers? Please tell me. Who remembers Marshall Henderson of Ole Miss? Please tell me you remember Marshall Henderson and that iconic jersey thing he did at Auburn. That was so sweet. It was so good. So good. Thank you. I knew Grant would remember. Marshall Henderson was legendary, bro. Legendary. Oh, man. What a dude. What a dude. Okay. This was him. Okay. This wasn't the celebration. But there he is. Ah, I love to hate this guy. I loved to hate this guy. Just look at that. You just man, that just gets the juices flowing, man. Pause. Jabari Smith. I have his autograph card over here. I love Jabari Smith. War number 52. I remember. But yeah, Marshall Henderson. Oh yeah, Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen is hooping. Magnum roll. But yeah, there's all these like legendary college basketball people that you have got to be a sports nerd to know who these people are, right? Ali Faroukmanesh. Who remembers that guy? The Northern Iowa 3 versus Kansas. That was so sweet. Yeah, I mean Deuce McAllister, obviously football, but you want to know a crazy story? Okay, Deuce McAllister was one of my first ever big one-on-one interviews. So this is gonna sound totally random and made up. Okay, so I had the Deuce McAllister jersey up for a week. So I changed these jerseys out weekly. Obviously, this is a big week for Patrick Peterson going to a new team. So I put his number 7 uniform up because obviously I'm really excited that Pat is still going to play. But Deuce McAllister, okay, it was the LSU versus Mississippi State game in 2011. Okay. And that game we won 19-6. Okay. And Eric Reed had a big hit, or it was crazy. So I went to the game, covered the game. And for some reason, Deuce McAllister was there. I don't remember why he told me he was there, because obviously he didn't go to LSU. He didn't go to Mississippi State. I don't believe he was playing anymore. And I don't believe he had any family. He probably had some friends playing or coaching, but he was just standing right there at the end of the game. And I just went up to him and said, "Hey, do you want to do an interview?" I wasn't necessarily starstruck. I was just kind of just shocked that he was just standing there. And I did the interview. I was a student at the time. And that was cool because, obviously I'm a big Deuce fan. But yeah, that was definitely really cool. Now, probably should bring up Tack Minor, as his stepson is going to be one of our best players next year. Denver Harris. Love that. There's a random one for you. The Ruston Rifle. Scotty Thurman. So random. Like, it's just one of those things, like, how did LSU not land him? But at the time, Arkansas was one of the programs. And also Ruston is North Louisiana. So, yeah, Scotty is, I think, still coaching a pretty prominent high school club in Little Rock. But yeah, Scotty Thurman is a legend. So Deuce brought us basketball shoes after Hurricane Katrina. Good dude. Yeah, he honestly was the best. Like, when I interviewed him, and you could just see, like, in TV and radio, like his broadcasting, like he's just a very inviting guy. But anyway, I know a lot of you are here to chat some LSU football. I'm going to be honest with you. There just isn't a whole lot going on right now with LSU football. And that is a good thing. Okay. It is spring break. All right. And part of why I've not released any practice footage, like, I released some on Patreon. So if you want to go see some, it is there. So yeah, join the Patreon. And what card are we giving away? Oh, how about this one? All right. So I have a thing. I don't rip a whole lot of boxes. Okay. So with my sports cards that I give out, most of them are singles that I bought, off eBay or were given to me to give out or whatever. Okay. This card, I don't like giving out cards that I pulled. Okay. Michael B isn't here, but a while back, I sent Michael B a Justin Jefferson card that I pulled. Okay. So when I pull a card out of a pack and it's an LSU player, I feel like it was destined for me. Okay. So if you join the PHL Patreon tonight, I'm going to send you a card that I pulled this week, Mason Smith's LSU rookie card. Okay. Right there. Join the PHL Patreon tonight. I'll send this to you tonight, a card that I personally pulled. Okay. I love it. That number 0 aesthetic, baby. Grant, I know you've been a busy person. What's up with the OL depth? I think I heard Brian Kelly say something about it. So it's important to understand what Brian Kelly mentioned about offensive line depth. Is he concerned about the overall offensive line depth? Yes, every coach is concerned about their offensive line depth, right? It is a position that is really hard to evaluate. And honestly, all positions are hard to evaluate in practice without actually playing games. But yes, you're always worried about your offensive line depth, right? I think every coach is at this point. So understand that I do think overall Brian Kelly is worried about it. But his quote recently had more to do, in my mind, okay, with the offensive line depth right now, okay, which is a different thing altogether, okay? So the LSU offensive line depth right now isn't great, okay? They are not that deep at that position. But in the summer, they are going to be getting a lot of offensive linemen. So, Grant, I know you haven't been paying much attention, but none of the offensive linemen that signed for Brian Kelly this cycle, transfer portal or high school, have arrived on campus. Now, of course, they have worked out. Of course, they have visited the campus. Of course, they are already on the diet that they need to be on. They've already visited, the schools, or they've already, visited the campus plenty of times, but they aren't there. So that is 5 offensive linemen coming in. Okay, Mason Lunsford out of Maryland, and then to go down the line here, DJ Chester, 4-star coming in from Georgia. Tyree Adams, 4-star out of Louisiana. Paul Mabenga, 3-star out of Georgia. And then, of course, the most highly touted player coming in, transfer or high school, is Lance Hurd, friend of the channel. So, yes, LSU, I got this pretty good authority that there is some concerns about how they practice now. Okay. What's interesting, though, Grant, is how they actually are practicing now could be how they actually start the season. So Charles Turner isn't practicing, he is banged up. So he is missing out on spring football. So the starting offensive line right now is Will Campbell at left tackle. Left guard is Garrett Dellinger. Your center is Marlon Martinez. Your right guard is Garrett Dellinger or Miles Frazier. Depends on how they want to line them up, left or right. And the right tackle is Emory Jones. So that might be how they actually start the season. But behind them is, an interesting group of players, right? You have Bo Bordelon in that group. You have Kimo Makanele in that group. So those are 2 3-stars that have signed and are on scholarship. Okay. So you've got some interesting names behind them, but it is not really that deep. Remember, Marcus Dumerville left. He's at Maryland. Cardell Thomas has left. So it's interesting. But I do think the overall offensive line depth is solid, but for spring, it is definitely not where it needs to be. Thank you, AB. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. I have no idea what it is. I'm looking now, checking on the score. What I don't get with these NCAA tournament people, okay, Tennessee and UL, it's early. Houston only up 2 on Northern Kentucky, still early. I've got UCLA going far. Yeah, AP, I appreciate that, man. Cam Wire went to Tulane. There you go. Great minds think alike. Jordan is definitely one of the sharpest PHLers. I ran into Skylar Mays at the UCLA Rose Bowl. That's cool. But yeah, Grant, I wouldn't panic about offensive line depth. I do believe, though, there's going to be a lot of pressure on at least 2 of those 5 guys coming in to be able to play. And if not, we're in trouble. Okay. But if I can really quickly, all right, just to do like some strict LSU football stuff, and I'm going to do this again. Okay, this isn't going to be the only time that I bring this up. Okay, but I want to show some love to Will Campbell really quickly, and how unprecedented of a season this guy just had. Okay, because this marks essentially, and I want everyone to think about this, and I know it is a given that Will is a really good player. He's one of the top 5 players on the team, one of the top 5 offensive linemen in the SEC. I think everybody, I think everybody knows this, right? But I really want to shout out Will, because it was just a year ago that this guy walked into spring practice without really much competition and was given the starting left tackle position for the LSU Tigers. Okay. Mind you, the starting left tackle position in a year where the pass rushers in the SEC were freaking ridiculous, right? Brenton Cox of Florida, Will Anderson, Dallas Turner of Alabama, Luke Sanders, LSU legendary linebacker. Drew Sanders for Arkansas, Jared Verse of Florida State. So you get this murderer's row of first round NFL defensive end talent. And not just first rounders, just good players. Tyrus Wheat. List goes on and on. This is your first year, true freshman guy. Walks in, becomes one of the leaders. We have Slade Roy on the channel. Slade Roy, not really provoked when I asked him this question, who are some of the leaders on the team? He was like, you won't believe it. It's Will Campbell. He's a true freshman. He said he's never been more welcomed by any teammate. Go look it up. Go look at the quote. All right. It's not my words. I don't know Will, never met him. Okay. But Slade is someone I feel like I know fairly well, and he just brought up, hey, Will Campbell. So true freshman comes in as a leader from North Louisiana. Guess what? Our offensive line is in shambles. We have missed on all these other top 150 offensive linemen. They can't play out of school, can't hold versus a bull rush. You got to save the line. We need you to play this ridiculously difficult position. No problem. No problem. Oh, yeah, you're going to be one of the leaders on the team, true freshman? No problem. No problem. But one thing that doesn't get brought up enough about Will Campbell, okay, was the Tennessee game, which was a game that he did not play, okay? Now, I won't go too much into detail of why he did not play that game, but he did suffer a medical scare that was scary. It wasn't a sprained ankle. It wasn't, his elbow got hit by a door or something like that. It was scary, and I'll put it at that. where he was in, the hospital, emergency room, and you get the photo of the 6'6" mammoth sitting in this hospital bed. And this is a scary thing, right? It's scary. We obviously play like trash. Our offense fell apart without him. And guess what? No big deal. Miss that one game. Comes right back the next week. And once again, won't get too far into details about what exactly happened, but it was scary. There was a lot of people, these things happen. Football's a dangerous sport. It's an exhausting sport. Started many years at Neville. He's played a lot of football. He's gone to all the camps. And he comes back, doesn't miss a beat. Doesn't miss a beat. Week 4 in the season. Scary medical accident. Comes back, good as new. And then proceeds to have the season that he had. And that is an unreal amount of stress, an unbelievably difficult task to navigate. And he is freaking ridiculous. Okay. 12-0 LSU heading to Atlanta. Surgery recovery. Jordan, let's hop on a call tomorrow so we can discuss this surgery. Got to make sure you're okay. Okay. You just emailed me. Let me see. Are you the any given set? Oh, I thought you were referencing Jordan, somebody else. He's actually he's actually fine. He's actually fine. I think I talked to him about a month ago. Let me message him right now. I thought at first I was like, wait, I think I know who you were talking about. But yeah, Alex on the Bayou. Let me see. I just shot him a message. So I hung out with him in London. He actually took our engagement photo. So no, yeah, I think he's fine. I've not talked to him in a while, but we will. I will hop on a call, and I'll get you on there. What's up, Jacob? Good to see you, man. Let's go. But yeah, what happens sometimes is when a player's name isn't in the news and you play a position like corner or offensive line, where if you're doing your job, your name might get mentioned a whole lot. I just wanted to show Will some love because this has just been a ridiculous run for a player. And once again, he was an elite recruit coming out, but I doubt anyone expected him to be this freaking good. I thought he was good. I really did. I thought he was going to be like a guy that could play year 1, more so year 2. Emory Jones was my number 1 player for LSU in that offensive cycle, but I thought Will was very good. I really did. And man, he was really, really good. And one thing I also liked about Will Campbell is, he's in Monroe. So a lot of you are familiar with the geography of the state. When you're in Monroe, it's hard to get everywhere, right? Especially if you're going to all these recruit announcements. Will Campbell went to all of them. And that's a lot of driving. That's 6 hours round trip. But he was there. And I freaking love that. I really do. Skipper. Housing this thing. So there you go. Now, we are an hour into this thing. You know one thing that I love, and it's up there with nonstop college basketball. And it's just one thing. Skipper's the winner tonight. Skipper, the dove. Huh? Who said Skipper? It's been months that you got a dub, and you watch every live stream. I don't know how Skipper gets a dub tonight. I love it. That's crazy. Skipper, man. I thought the meds would have already kicked in, bro. Skipper, it's past your bedtime, my friend. Skip, come on now. Who said you could get a dub? Oh man, that's so freaking good. Presley Collection and the Presley Collection.com. There you go, right there. You know where to go, Presley Collection, PresleyCollection.com. And there's old Skip. Look at that. Look at these two fine young gentlemen right here. I mean, good. It looks like we are in the middle of it, right? This looks like a scene from McConaughey, Harrelson, True Detective. Now, I think maybe two of you got that reference. Back when I used to watch TV, I don't watch TV anymore. Outside of Ted Lasso, and the first episode of this season's really good. That is so funny. Who coaches longer, Brian Kelly or Roll Tide? What FU Saban? That's a good question. So type B for Brian Kelly, type N for Nick Saban. And this is who coaches longer at their respective schools. Type B for Brian Kelly, type N for Nick Saban. Skipper said, I took my meds a little bit later. I'm putting myself back up on the Presley mantle. Yeah, Lasso's back, baby. Lasso is back. But yeah, Saban's in his 70s. I think he's 72. And BK is either 61 or 62, either one. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Brian Kelly coaches longer at LSU than Nick Saban coaches at Alabama. Right. So yeah, just simply by age, Max, this is a good question. I think BK is going to outlast old Nick Saban. But yeah, Max, follow up. If you got another question, Max, let me know. You know what's interesting? So I did. I saw this Twitter thread that Jason Sudeikis made $1 million for each episode of Ted Lasso this year, and he got a raise for every actor on the show. So his first couple of years, he made like $250K to $500K per episode, and then it got bumped up to $1 million per episode, $1 million per episode, and everybody on the staff makes. I think everybody got at least a $25K per episode raise. Per episode. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's like that's like me for a year. Huh? One episode. Max thinks Nick is going to outlast BK. I've got to be honest. Max has gotten okay. This is how well I respect an objective opinion. Okay. It does seem like Nick Saban is so maniacal about success in the game of football that he would be the guy to coach till he's like 93. I'm serious. Like, I could see it. And Brian Kelly could be someone that, you know, says, look, I want to spend more time in my personal life. But I'm still going to go Brian Kelly. But I will say this, okay? And I appreciate a good objective opinion. And Max got littered with hate for this. Max called the Texas A&M win versus us. And that was one of the more impressive predictions on PHL. Got to be honest. Max freaking called it. He said, guys, I hate this spot. You said Texas A&M is going to be fired up. This is their last game. They're treating it as their Super Bowl. And guess what? Players said that from Texas A&M after the game. So, got to be honest. Max will call it like it is. Okay. Not only that, he super chatted it too. Tell me I'm wrong, Max. If I'm remembering this incorrectly, you did freaking call it. You freaking called it. I was really impressed. I was like, when I say, hey, I think LSU is going to lose, I thought Tennessee was going to beat LSU. I said that pretty clearly throughout that week. It is what it is. But yeah, and also Max was one of the first people to do the Texas 8-4 thing 2 years ago. Okay. Max has been early on a lot of things. He called the Eli Ricks, he called him Elias Durant. He called Texas 8-4. I think this was like a few years ago. J.O. also said the Elias Durant thing around the same time. Max has been right about a lot of things. I got to be honest, even if it's not the best news for LSU, and that's part of what I want on this channel, right? We're all LSU fans, but if you want to have a bold opinion, go for it. That's fine. Hit the like and subscribe button. I don't do a good enough job of that. In fact, I don't even have my bottom scroll. Type Y for yes, type N for no if you could see the bottom scroll. Or if you've ever read the bottom scroll. Type Y for yes, type N for no. So Captain Dove, I feel like Captain Dove is getting ready to load up on some PHL merch. And before I answer this question, okay. Captain Dove has been hanging out with us for a good little bit now. Freaking love it. He's been great. PHL merch, powerhourlsu.com. Get two or more merch items. We'll send you this Mason Smith card right here. Wait, Nose is in here now? Nose can't be in here now. There you go. Captain Dove is joining the merch club tonight. I love it. There's a link right there. Captain Dove, get you 2 pieces of merch. Guess what? I'm sending you this Mason Smith card tonight. 2 pieces of merch. And I'll answer this question. Been thinking about this all day. It's been reported that Xavier Atkins is rumors of decommitting and committing to Arkansas. Thoughts? Okay. So he's talking about Xavier Debo Atkins. All right. Linebacker that has been committed to LSU for quite some time. And it gets a little personal here because he is a Louisiana linebacker. And we have picked up a linebacker recently that is rated lower than him. So what I'm going to do, and TJ, I don't have any sympathy for you picking Arizona. If you would have watched him last year, to not pick Arizona. They're frauds every year. Mike Bibby is not walking through that door. Richard Jefferson is not walking through that door, TJ. Lute Olson is not walking through that door. Okay? He's not. Damian Stoudemire is not walking through that door, ladies and Gentiles. Okay? Benedict Mathern is not walking through that door. Okay? Just not happening. Yes, Princeton. The Princeton backdoor offense. What do you know about it? No, I shared why I wanted Princeton to win a little bit earlier today. But yeah, as you'll see right here. So to answer your question really quickly, Captain Dove, Maurice Williams is kind of a tweener safety linebacker type. Same thing is kind of true here with Kalaj Cobbins. He is not really a linebacker. He is an edge jack player. He is not a off-ball linebacker. So then you get down here, and LSU has Xavier Debo Atkins currently committed, and Devon Keys. Okay, very interesting. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about anything regarding guys from 2024 flipping. Okay, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I mean, it's so early in the cycle, but keep in mind that we have a good linebacker class already with the Keys kid being committed. Now, I don't think you should be too worried about it. Okay. And I understand that there are some people out there that say, well, uh, what if this kid decommits? I always say this with recruits. Okay. And I know you might, I don't know how much this is eating you up inside. I can't speak for you, but I would never ever think about any recruit all day. I just wouldn't. There's been few that have been like that for me. And look, Atkins might be the next Devin White. He very well could be. Once again, it's hard to tell at this point until you actually see their senior high school tape and see them get on campus. But the truth is, Captain Dove, is every year there are, on average, for every LSU recruiting class, there are 3 superstars per class coming out of high school, not including the portal. Okay, there's normally about 3 superstars. Some good years you get 6, 7-ish, but I tend to focus on the players that I think are superstar players. Okay, and for me, whether it's Atkins or whether it's Chris Hilton or any 4-star recruit you could think of, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I just wouldn't. These kids are going to visit other schools, and it's fine. And if they want to flip and go to that school, it's fine. Like, I really like Darren Reed coming out, and he was committed to LSU for a long time, and he played a position that we needed. We needed some thick defensive lineman to play Matt House's scheme. He decided to go to Auburn. We kill it in the portal and get those needs filled, right? The only time you should really fret is if you truly believe unequivocally that that player is a superstar. And even then, if you see a kid go somewhere else, it's still not the end of the world. Okay? Patrick Surtain is as good as it gets in the NFL. As good as it gets at corner. We were fine. Now, to help, we had Derek Stingley the next year. Help, we had Christian Fulton. But that's the thing, is if one guy decommits, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. There we go, baby. Princeton. TJ, please don't tell me you picked Arizona. Please don't tell me you picked Arizona. Okay. I've zero sympathy for those that picked Arizona. Zero. Okay. Go cry on Steve Kerr's shoulder. I don't give a rip if you picked Arizona. Don't give two flying you know what. You should know better than to pick the Wildcats. Okay. Now, if Richard Jefferson walked out on that court, hell yeah. Pick the Wildcats. If Ron Gronkowski suited up, hell yeah, pick the Wildcats to win it all. Okay? But really? Really? Arizona? One program I think that can get really good in hoops is Penn State. So they're playing Texas A&M right now, and I actually have Texas A&M going pretty far. Penn State's coach Shrewsbury or whatever, he's good. He's really good. And I think Penn State could be a good basketball school. Like Ohio State's a little down. Izzo's getting up there. Purdue, Illinois, they look like frauds every year in the tournament. I think Penn State could be something. They're able to keep their coach. I don't know. I think that's his last name, Shrewsbury. I know, Jay. I should have you do a live stream one time. Just y'all think it's me and it's Sibley. Dude, I cannot shoot. I cannot shoot to save my life. Just based on what I look like, though, you could tell that with my athleticism and frame, I was just an athlete. I couldn't shoot to save my life. I was Dennis Rodman out there. Man, I was just an athlete, and I ran a 4.4, 48-inch vertical. I was Ben Wallace out there, and that was me. I was jacked up. I wore the wristbands on my bicep. Had a fro. My basketball game was pure athleticism, nothing else. You know who I was? I was Kenneth Fareed. I was the manimal out there. Oh, this is good. Inject this comment into my veins. Aggie basketball is like Aggie football. They always disappear on the big stage. Houston's only up 3 at half. And their star guard Sasser is playing. Oh, crap. What's up, Pooh Bear? It's good, baby. Let's see. We got Pegasus in here now. Captain Merch Dove. Captain's getting some merch tonight. Let's go. Once again, next person. I got it on my phone. 2 pieces of merch. I'm sending you this Mason Smith card I pulled today. Let's see what else. I've got a few more of these. I'm giving one of these out for March Madness. I'm sending a Brian Kelly card. If you join the Patreon or get 2 pieces of merch today, to the Brian Kelly and the Mason Smith card. Why not? But yeah, you get the Texas A&M Texas matchup in round 2. Sibley? Oh man, I could see Sibley back in the day. The high socks and the Converse. Let's go, Sibley. I could see Sibley dropping buckets, baby. The Big Ten are always frauds in the NCAA tournament. They're frauds. Let's get the Dove. Captain Merch Dove. What SEC team do you think will be a dark horse in 2023? So you guys heard me today on my rant about how much the Kentucky Wildcat football program are frauds. They're frauds. Okay. There are some programs that I am higher on than most. Okay. One guy I like is Elijah Drinkowitz. I really do like him. I think he's an innovative offensive guy. I don't think as far as like play calling is concerned, he's on like a hypo lane level, but I think he's a bright offensive guy. I like him personally as well. 2 years ago they hired Steve Wilkes to be their defensive coordinator, and it was a disaster. And obviously Wilkes went back to the NFL, had a lot of success with Carolina. And thank you so much, bud. And took a while. I'm kidding. It's kind of like if it's now this is a niche thing. So I told Haley, I was getting ready to do the live stream. I said, "Hey, can you go make me a punch?" And I forgot to do it. And it's always tradition. She makes me a punch right before, but sometimes I'll just go do it. But we're watching the end of the games, and you get in here, do the show, whatever. And I finally get it. I was thinking about it in the back of my mind. It's like, hope Haley is going to get my punch. But waiting that long for a drink, I haven't waited that long since I mean, you know that feeling when you're at a bar and it takes forever to get a drink. There's nothing worse. Nothing worse. You're like, I'm getting ready to spend $25 on an overpriced cocktail. Ain't nothing like it. Big super chat coming in. Thank you, Sylvie. I appreciate it. What would it take for me to take you to an LSU baseball game and you don't move for 9 innings? Okay. It'll take a lot. I actually, no, I've not been to Alec Box in a while. So yeah, I'm down. Pick a game. I'll go. I can go pick. Actually, we can make a trip out of this. Doug, I could come pick you up in Pineville and we can go. Pick up Semper and Laffy. Actually, you know what I should do? I should call President Tate. He's got that bus. I was like, hey, come pick us up. We want to go to the game. Let's go. I'll do a live stream for the bus. But I'd love to go. But yeah, I go pick up Doug and go to a game. Doug knows. But yeah, I would obviously go with you, right? Nothing against baseball, okay? And what's funny about this, John Sibley, is people did I just dox him? No, I didn't. If I would have well, I've shown photos of all of them on PHL and have gotten their permission, especially Doug. So, Doug, if you would like me to never show your photo again on here, I won't, but I don't want to dox anybody. But I know Doug pretty well. Met all his friends. Here's the problem with Doug. Doug rolls 50 deep. So when we were doing our PHL get together from the and I know where all you guys live. When I was doing my show from Stumpy's, the axe throwing house in New Orleans, and it was totally free. I didn't make any cash from it. I was just there, and I was like, hey, if you guys want to come hang out, we're going to do our show from Stumpy's in New Orleans, and we had a great time. We really did. So Doug shows up. Doug had like 30 people with him. I was like, God, dog. I remember Doug's wife had this very sparkly outfit, and she had all her girlfriends and your homies were with you, Doug. And Doug was like, hey, every year we make one trip, and it was all Doug's partners, baby. And we had a good time. It was really fun. So yeah. Yes, I'd love to go to an LSU baseball game with you. We could make it work, man. I will say this. So a few of you have asked me about the spring game. Okay. Um, I am not going to the spring game this year. Okay. That is not entirely my fault because I won't make this announcement tonight, but we are doing a PHO get together on that date. Okay. And it will be in North Louisiana. I won't make the official announcement until Tuesday, but we are doing a spring game something. I was asked to do something and I committed to it. And, the spring game date isn't released until later. So it is LSU related. It's going to be a good time. So on Tuesday we'll make that get together announcement. But yeah, now I would love to go to an LSU baseball game. As you can tell, I have a decent amount of LSU baseball knowledge on just the history of it. I can name a couple players on this year's team, and I'm very happy that they're good. It's very cool. But yes, it's hard for me to sit for a full game. But if it's an LSU baseball game and we're very good, got ourselves a pretty electric coach apparently here. The pitching coach, Wes Johnson, and I have a pretty strong mutual friend, so I'd love to meet him. Um, and Dylan Cruz is obviously a very transcendent talent. Trey Morgan has developed a pretty big fan base. I like this team. Tommy Tanks has a cool nickname. What is it? Skeens? Paul Skeens is one of the pitchers. Skeens. So yeah, I'm really excited about this team. I'm going to keep up with them. And I'm very happy for Coach Johnson coming over from Arizona and doing it. So let's get to the second part of this. Who starred in football and baseball at LSU? It's a good question. So, it's obviously Chad Jones is the big one who starred. Okay. Starred in both. Okay. Chad Jones at his peak in both is up there amongst the greats in both when it comes to, LSU relievers and LSU free safeties. So starred is a strong word. He was the one that starred in both. Obviously, Jared Mitchell was a star in baseball and a solid football player, but he was a first round pick in baseball. And you also had Spencer Ware, right? So Spencer Ware was obviously awesome in football, and he was okay in baseball. And then, of course, more recently, you had Mo Hampton, who was okay. Let's put it that way. He only played one true freshman season of both. I don't know how he was as a baseball player. Chance, I know you can school me on that. But yeah, I think if you were to pick one that starred in both, it would be Chad Jones. But if there's any others that I'm missing, feel free to let me know. one of my favorites was for a different Tigers. The defensive tackle for the Bengals, DJ Reader, was a Clemson football and baseball player. And that was crazy. I was like, God, that is a big dude. And I love DJ Reader for the Bengals. But yeah, so yeah, John Zimmer, I think that's it. Obviously there are other really good two sports stars. And I was guessing you meant football and baseball instead of football and basketball. I don't know if there's any LSU football and basketball stars. I know there are others at other schools. You know, football and basketball. I think at other schools who were football and basketball stars at other schools. One off the top of my mind was Matt Jones at Arkansas, who was, really good quarterback, really solid basketball player, and a first round pick of the Jaguars. But yeah, I'm trying to think who has LSU ever had a football and basketball star? I don't know. I don't know. Has there ever really been anybody that played both? Now I know, like an obvious one. I made an Instagram joke about this today. Is Joe Burrow, but he didn't play college basketball. Now, my favorite, and I was mostly sticking to the SEC, but Julius Peppers was really good at both. Really good. I will say my earliest memory of Julius Peppers, and I know he played for the Panthers, a Saints rival, but God, he was one of my favorite NFL players. Julius Peppers is such a freak of an athlete. I remember when he chased down Michael Vick from behind in the NFL. I was like, that is just unfreaking real. I remember Julius Peppers, his 1 year as a basketball player. He got away with the worst travel in the ACC tournament I ever remembered. He got a ball in like from the 3-point line to the rim, and it wasn't like a Giannis. Giannis can do a layup from half court because his legs are so long. But Julius Peppers took like 7 steps for a dunk. But yeah, the basketball football guys from Lake Charles played for Dale and Skip Mouton. Ben McDonald played basketball and baseball. Did he do it for LSU? I don't know. Did Ben McDonald play LSU basketball? I did not know this. I'm serious. That is insane if he did that. Or was he just a good He did play bat. I did not know that. I swear I did not know that. That is so crazy, man. I swear I did not know that. Brian Bridgewater. Dude, the Bridgewater athletes, Brad Bridgewater, dude, they were animals, man. They were so freaking athletic. I miss the Bridgewaters, man. My family had some connection with, I believe, Brad Bridgewater, but yeah, dude, the Bridgewaters were so freaking talented, man. So freaking talented. But yeah, there's a lot of, obviously Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez. I had a rookie card somewhere of Antonio Gates, a football rookie card, and it was It was him in a Kent State basketball uniform. It was so cool. That is crazy. I did not know that. I swear I did not know that. I swear. Then again, Ben McDonald's MLB debut was in 1989, the year of my birth. So that was a while ago, but that's crazy. Jimmy Graham, yeah. Yeah, Allen Iverson's pretty famous one, right? They still talk about him being one of the best high school quarterbacks in Pennsylvania. I'm a big Iverson guy. Huge. This is a huge Iverson fan channel here. Dude, Alexis Morris, when she said she's a college athlete, all right, and I just learned a little bit more about her. I didn't know she played at like 50 different schools. She's just great. I freaking love her. She played at Texas A&M, what were the other two schools, like Rutgers or something like that. And here she is. And when she said she looked up to Allen Iverson, that hit me right in the soul. It really did. I was like, that is so cool. The youngins still look up to my idols. There's a little kid plays basketball in our neighborhood. And I asked him, I gave him some of my cards and I said, hey, who's your favorite player? And he said Michael Jordan. I was like, what? Really? I was your age when I was watching Michael Jordan play. Huh? But yeah, Allen Iverson is definitely one of the legendary ones, right? Another what's the one that people always bring up? This is always the craziest one, that Jason Williams, White Chocolate, and Randy Moss were basketball teammates. Okay. How wild was that? That one's an all-timer. I mean, two icons. Now, obviously, you have different talent levels in their respective fields, but dude, I'll watch J. Will highlights all day. The elbow pass in the rookie game, to let you know how crazy of a play that was. I'm just bringing this up. Harlem Globetrotters, any level of basketball, pick up anything. Have you ever seen anybody do an elbow pass other than Jason Williams in the rookie game? That is the only time that I have ever seen it. Not in YouTube. There's a million people that make six-figure salaries doing basketball on Instagram. Seriously, just filming pickup games. I've never seen anyone attempt to do it. The elbow pass to Rafe LaFrentz. I will never, ever forget that. That was still, I remember watching that when I was little. I was like, that was absurd. And remember, we didn't have YouTube or Twitter or any of that. Jalen Suggs is a good one. But the elbow pass, I'm telling you, J. Will's elbow pass was crazy. But yeah, him and Randy Moss were high school basketball teammates. That was always a great one. Baylor, Rutgers, Texas A&M, LSU. What a legendary career. Shout out to you, Morris. The other, Chris Jackson, a kicker, played baseball too. That's crazy. Baseball kicker. Oh, Zach Van Rosenberg, the pitcher punter, but it wasn't at LSU, but still. Let's go to this. C. Vivian Stringer coached the only HBCU team to make it to a natty. She lost to LA Tech when Mulkey was playing. That's a really good one. How about that? Iverson almost kicked off at Georgetown because of tattoos. Man, I wish I was alive for like the Georgetown Hoya years because like my DC family tells me how big of a deal like those Ewing and Morning teams were. Um, they're more famous for their loss to Villanova than anything. But John Thompson dying was just such a big thing. Like John Thompson was just huge in the coaching community, and you still see it. Like a lot of coaches still had the towel on their shoulder. That was Thompson's just the best, man. And obviously, his son tried, couldn't get it done. And then Ewing tried, couldn't get it done. And now, man, I wish Georgetown basketball came back, right? That is a brand. And could be, I'm a little biased. I love Georgetown hoops. But yeah. Our own Jamar Chase is a great basketball player. That's why he's so good. The Louisiana Tech University. Thank you. I think Houston is in trouble. It's a 116 game. Okay, they're by 5 right now. All right, UL starting to get blown out. I have Tennessee going pretty deep. Okay. Remember when I picked Georgetown to win March Madness my freshman year? Someone wrote fail across the bracket so thick and Sharpie that it was on the Tiger TV lounge wall for years. I think I actually know who did that. It wasn't me. It might have been Template. It would have been Template. Because like Georgetown had like after John Thompson left, Georgetown had all these great players, but they could never really do anything in the tournament. Right now, they lost to Florida Gulf Coast, but everybody did that one year. But yeah, they had just so many of these tournament losses. But yeah, it's just amazing though. Like the one thing I like about college basketball is that it is a little bit different than college football in that I think it's a little bit easier to hand a program off to a new coach, right? I know Alabama was down proverbially for, years until Saban, so you had to revive it. But, you could hand the program to like a Ryan Day, right? If you're Ohio State and it's still, the ball continues to roll. But yeah, it's hard. Like in basketball, your team, everything could just fall apart if the next coach isn't good in college basketball. Man, it's just amazing. Like there are some elite programs that have just fallen to shreds recently. Like I swear I never would have thought that North Carolina would not have made the tournament this year. That Villanova would not have made the tournament this year. They returned a lot. Both teams returned a lot. But they lost the coach that won them the titles in recent years. And look, I grew up watching Hubert Davis being an announcer on TV. I think you need to give him another year to turn it back around, but at least playing the NIT. Huh? 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 And then, there's a lot of programs that just falling off. Like we saw it this year with LSU. Will Wade leaves. Roster depleted with the portal. Matt McMahon. It's crazy. But when John Thompson left Georgetown, it has not been the same, right? Like the coaches really do matter so freaking much. And it's wild. It's absolutely wild. Okay. Um so yeah, I think we'll see. Like Duke obviously looked really good today. It's a really good year for John Shire in year one. But I would not be surprised if Duke somehow regresses. Now they're still recruiting at a ridiculously high level. And I think they have the most social media followers, so that matters now. Florida loses Billy Donovan. They suck. They're garbage. Okay. And look, I know there's football programs that lose an elite coach. Um, but for the most part, programs remain the same. Like they just do. Now, you know what, John? You're right. I mean, Rodney Terry's done a really good job with Texas. I've seen them play a few games this year. They're good. They're really good. They're well put together too. So, I think Texas should keep them. I don't think they're going to make a run here, but yeah, he looks to be pretty good. And then Chris Beard is in the SEC now. Are you kidding me? Chris freaking Beard is in the SEC. I'm telling you, the coaching in the SEC is so freaking good in all these sports. Like it is so freaking good. Like it is absurd. Like how many great freaking coaches are on in every sport. In every sport. You better have somebody there. It is interesting, Frank. So Ryan Day, okay. Ryan Day has lost some really big close games. Okay. And some of it you can argue is due to mismanagement. Okay. So the Ohio State Clemson game from 2019 was, a big loss for him, right? And Chris Olave ran the wrong way and Justin Fields threw a pick. And it wasn't on either one of them. It wasn't like a wrong route. It was a extended play or whatever. And there's some mismanaging of the clock or something like that. I don't remember. And then the Ohio State disaster happened. Should he have run on first down? I don't know. Still, um, Ohio State would have expected a national championship by now. You've lost to Michigan 2 straight years. You can make a case that both of the losses are a little fluky, if you will. Like, I mean, Michigan really deserved to win the first one, but it did snow, right? And Michigan is a run-based team. Ohio State is a little bit more multiple, and that obviously helped Michigan win that game. And then obviously last year, Michigan just hit big plays, and Ohio State messed up a fake punt that would have gotten them a big play, and they just kind of fell apart there. The issue for Ryan Day is that you don't play a lot of big games at Ohio State. You just don't. Like, you don't play a lot of close games. You blow out a lot of teams. And when you get in these moments, sometimes your teams don't know how to react, right? Shaka. I actually have Vermont beating them tomorrow. I do. I liked a few of these 15-2s. I was very skeptical of Arizona. I did not think Princeton was going to beat them today. But I do have Vermont beating Marquette. The Catamounts. Dang, Penn State is beating the crap out of Texas A&M. I have a theory. Okay. Penn State and Texas A&M both played late conference tournaments. Okay. Both of their games ended on Sunday and they had to play on Thursday. There's still plenty of time, to get rest. But I am a believer, fade teams that make deep runs in their conference tournament. Okay. Fade them. Like, unless you think they're so good. Like Alabama is just so good this year. Let's see here. Gotta switch to the backup cam. Let's see. Sibley believes in Chris Beard. Beard's talented. Now, I won't dive into everything because I have not followed that case closely at all. But Ole Miss, that was a pretty crazy hire. They should have never gotten rid of Andy Kennedy. But let's go to John Sibley. He wants to talk some LSU football. That's why we're here. What are people saying about the LSU football offense? It's a crucial year because expectations are too high or so high. Okay? It's a really good question. Here is my expectations, John Sibley, is I went through and looked at recent LSU success and compared this year's LSU offense to other offenses that we have had in the past. Okay. And I do something a little bit differently than most is I only care about what you do in Power 5 games. So, a lot of analytics accounts do that. I'm not super unique in that, but I exclusively only follow those games, right? Especially this year for LSU, considering none of the non P5 games were competitive at all. And, and some of that was because the non P5 teams we played this year were not good, right? Southern wasn't great. New Mexico was arguably the worst team in the country. And UAB had the best non P5 running back. They're a really solid team. Their yard per play numbers were really good, but we still blew them out. So for me, when I look at the Power 5 games about the LSU football offense, we were solid. Okay, so from a play to play, game to game, down to down, efficiency, we were really solid. We had really good success rates. And what success rates are is if you pick up 5, if it's 1st and 10, if it's 2nd and 5, that was a successful play. So we had really good success rate. Okay. But the issue was our overall output wasn't where it needed to be. And we just had too many games last year where our offense wasn't good. And sometimes what I like to do is I like to split the LSU offense into halves. And you would see if you do that, you'll see so many halves of football where our offense was not great, especially for LSU standards, and more so, and more importantly, especially for national championship level standards. So my metric that I always go back to, it's tried and true, is yards per play. And I think a good yard per play outing is if you average 6 yards per play. Sometimes there are kneel downs. Sometimes games situationally can get weird. So to round up, I will just say 5.9 yards per play. Okay. So last year, our yard per play numbers weren't where they needed to be in terms of games that we had yard per play of 6 or better. Now, in the chat right now, I want you, whoever you are watching this right now, give it your best guess. How many games did LSU have last year where LSU averaged 5.9 yards per play or better versus Power 5 competition? A reminder, we played 10 Power 5 games last year. Okay. How many of those games did LSU play where they averaged at least 5.9 yards per play? We say hi to the Prez of PHO. What's up, Cliff? We say hi to Branson Cat, one of my BFFs. Okay. All right. Oh, Cajuns. Even though I have Tennessee going far in all of my brackets, I hope they lose. I'm cheering for the Cajuns tonight. Okay. Get your best guesses in right now, and I will put up the answer here in just a second. So 5.9 is what I consider good. There were, I believe, 5 SEC offenses that averaged 6 yards per play in Power 5 competition last year. Okay. And we were not one of them. All right. Frank says 4: Ole Miss, Florida, Bama, Mississippi State. Okay. Now, the answer is right there. Okay. Last year, we had 1, 2, 3, 4: Ole Miss, Florida, Georgia, and Purdue. Okay. So, Purdue, can we really count the Purdue game? I mean, I'll let you guys come to your own conclusion on that. Purdue kind of felt off, right? There was a reason why LSU Purdue was the biggest point spread of all the bowl games. They didn't have a coach. They brought us a celebrity analyst, and their quarterback, 2 best receivers, 2 best defensive linemen, best tight end, all opted out, including a few others. Okay. What's up, Aaron? So in theory, if you want to include Purdue, 4. We had 4 Power 5 games last year where we put up a 5.9 yard per play mark or better. So in less than half of our games, okay, we averaged 5.9 yards per play. Okay. But the issue for me, all right, the issue for me isn't that. It's that we had these games at the bottom where we average less than 5 yards per play. Okay. Which to me is a bad offensive outing. Okay. Tennessee, Arkansas, Auburn. We were lucky to win 2 of these games. That's wild. Now, does that mean that I don't think LSU can do better? No. It's just LSU should expect more. Okay. Brian Kelly himself said after the Auburn game that isn't necessarily a formula you can continue winning with. Okay. Thank Matt House, obviously jokingly, but not so jokingly. Thank Coy Moore. And thank Greg Brooks, Harold Perkins. BJ Ojolari made the big play in that game. We were very lucky. They jumped out to a 17-0 lead. All right, think about how crazy this was. How miraculous that Auburn win was. We had the worst LSU injury in recent history in a game happen on the first play of the game. Then they jump out to a 17-0 lead on the road. Now, mind you, this was still early in the season. We already had losses that were piling up. And somehow, some way, Jaden Daniels found a way to get it done. And what was interesting is Auburn averaged 6.3 yards per play in that game. That's a good offensive outing, right? But what happened? We had timely turnovers, and we had essentially a pick six, a scoop and score, if you will. And we just had some big plays when they mattered the most. It was a very strange game, but offensively, that was our worst game. Well, the FBI is going to come through me first before they get to Branson Cat. Aaron. So to go back up here to your super chat, JSB, about the LSU offense, we have got to get more explosive. We have got to put together outings. Like, I doubt there's many SEC West champions that had 3 games where they were under 5 yards per play. I mean, that's not good. That is not good at all. And yeah, we've got a long way to go. We do. And also to add to that, how many games would you say, how many halves of LSU football this past year would you say we were dominant offensively? Okay. Dominant. Okay. First half versus Florida State, no. Second half versus Florida State, yes-ish. When they went into their 2-minute stuff, that was when we were able to come back in the fourth quarter. So I'll say yes. So one half of not good, second half great. Jaden was great for the most part, start to finish. He was great. Then Mississippi State game, same thing. Bad first half, solid second half. Not spectacular. We had the big fumble recovery, and then the fourth quarter was spectacular. So once again, slow start, great finish. And then, as you go through these games, Auburn, we really weren't good offensively, really at all. We had a few big John Emery plays and a few big Jaden runs, but it was rough sledding. And then the Tennessee game was just not good at all. There were some good throws from Jaden in that game, but still. Then, Florida, Ole Miss, pretty good stuff from start to finish offensively. You can't ask for anything more. Alabama, honestly, I thought Alabama was a good offensive game from start to finish, factoring in the level of competition. That was really good. And in particular, the fourth quarter was our best quarter of the season. And then we had Arkansas, not good, first or second half. Texas A&M, fine first half, lots of drops. So no, and then the second half, no again on offense. Georgia offensively, fine first half, really good second half. And then Purdue, obviously, from start to finish. Okay. So, offensively, we just, we weren't as cohesive as we would have liked to have been. And it's tough. It's really, 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 really tough. So, I would say that there was 3-ish games where we were well, no, I would say 4-ish games where we were both good offensively in the first half and in the second. Okay. So it's tough to put together a complete game, but in 10 Power 5 games, you want more dominant outings from your offense, right? So, yeah, we'll see. And a lot of it is because of the explosive plays, right? If you want to increase your yard per play numbers, you've just got to hit more shots down the field. Now, once again, yard per play isn't the be all end all. People like, efficiency numbers like EPA per play, success rate. There's different metrics. Once again, when it comes to success rate, we were really good. Okay. It's just, you've got to, for me, and how the modern game works, you've got to be able to hit deep passes. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. In the next 5 minutes, okay, I'm going to answer as many questions as I possibly can. All right. But if you super chat, we'll keep this party moving all night long, baby. Oh, man. I know I'm supposed to say this for the end, but fellas and ladies, Hey has mastered Cajun pasta. My goodness gracious. Now, what's interesting, I don't know if Cliff is still in here or not, but Cliff makes the most delicious Cajun Alfredo pasta I think I've ever had. But I don't know. Haley is shoot. And she made this dish after we got married. I was like, what have you been doing? I would have proposed to you a year after dating. This is what I was waiting for. Kidding. But I thought she had cooked everything. Haley's one of the best chefs I've ever met in my life. She can really throw down. And then she concocts this potion, this magical festation of brilliance. Are you kidding me? So, yeah. A&M's your surprise team? I hope you're wrong about that. So what you got playing for the rest of the offseason coming down for the spring game? So I'll go ahead and say it. I won't be. I wanted to, but I got booked to do an LSU related event on April 22nd of the spring game. Okay. And more details will come out on that. It will be in North Louisiana. So if you are in the Shreveport Bossier area, I committed to this a long time ago. So, I know a lot of you like to go to the spring game. It is free. It is the only LSU football you get until, obviously the fall. So, it does help us football deprived people. But, I didn't want to back out of this. I just didn't. So, yeah. So I'll be doing that. So I won't be going to the spring game. However, I should be back in Baton Rouge pretty soon. So we'll do another PHL get together. We had a very fun one not too long ago with Hal and everybody. Yeah, I know. But we were going to get it. I know Texas fans really wanted this to be a thing. But the Texas versus Texas A&M game, ugh. Mm. Mm. I mean, of course, Texas versus Texas A&M in the NCAA tournament would have been sweet. But you can't trust the Aggies to get that done. Most five most talented guys on this roster. Regardless of age or position, when it comes to talent. Harold, Malik, Mason, Will, and I'll go Emory Jones. I'll go those 5. Okay. Now, when it comes to like ranking talent, I don't include quarterbacks with that. So, but yeah, that's just off the top of my head. Now, there's some other guys that I like a lot, obviously, but we'll just go with those 5. BTJ, yeah, BTJ is right there. He's definitely, I'd say he's definitely in the 10. But I'm higher on Emory Jones than most. I think quite a few people wouldn't have Emory Jones in their 5. But I think obviously Harold and Malik are like the only 2 you have to put in there. I think there's a debate for the other 3 slots. Obviously, you haven't seen the true freshman come in. If I was asked this question, last year, I was saying Harold Perkins, before he even played it down. And I've said this, of this true freshman class, there isn't anyone on the freshman that LSU brought in that had a better grade for me than Harold Perkins or Emory Jones. That's just how I personally saw it. That doesn't mean that there wasn't elite players that came in for this class. Okay. There's obviously some really good players. I like Womack. I like Lance Hurd a lot. I don't think anyone else would disagree with that. But, I think, maybe Caleb Jackson. I think Caleb Jackson's going to be a very good player. I really do. Yeah, I like Denver Harris a lot. I've been doing a bunch of pro Denver stuff lately on here. Boring. Houston's going to win. These late games are starting to suck. Dang it. There's nothing worse than when a slate of games suck. I don't know. You never know with these things. You really don't. I'll say this, and I know I've said this, plenty of times. Since 2019, when I started doing like LSU high school evaluations, watching their tape and all this stuff, Harold Perkins is still by far the best player that I watched. Once again, these are just my eyes seeing this. There's a lot of different factors that go into it. But he was just the best. His high school tape is still ridiculous to me. And yeah, Pimpton could be a guy that will be on this list next year. Ole Miss at Oxford, it's going to be tough. Oxford is always just going to be a portal team. So they're always just going to have so many new players. They're going to be filled with like transfer from UCF, backup lineman from Alabama. I mean, they're always going to be so transfer heavy. It's going to be interesting what Golding's defense is going to look like next year as well, but I think we beat them. Who leads the Tigers in interceptions next year? Interceptions are a bit of a random stat. Like, let's go. Um, let's go Deuce Chestnut. Why not? Oh, Pappy's got plenty left in the tank. We're number 20. That is podcast co-host war. It's pretty cool. I wish he didn't go to the Steelers. Obviously, I wish he went to like the Bengals or something like that. That would have been really freaking sweet. But now he's going up against Joe Burrow. No, he's still got some gas left in there. Is definitely on, the quarter tank level. But yeah, no, PP7 can still play, or PP20 can still play. Okay. Messiah. Huh? 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 I will say, if you stripped everything away from Garrett Nussmeier and you just showed the Georgia tape, you would think that that guy was freaking Mahomesian. Like, he made some. There was one Mahomesian throw that he made, and that was the cover two hole shot to Malik. That throw, I still don't know how I got through. I mean, that was a freaking laser hole shot, man. There's nothing like the whole shot versus cover two. Ask the real film nerds. I know I'm a film breakdown guy on here, but like the real people, the Cody Alexanders, the people that do like the match quarters breakdown, and that's there's so much of that stuff that's just way over my head. But anytime you see a quarterback hit a whole shot versus cover two, um, and especially if there's nothing like truly holding that safety, watch the freak out. Huh? 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 There you go. Super sticker. So you want to know what's funny about the this super sticker right here? So you see it's got the red. So whenever you get a red super chat, that's normally $100 or more. So for some reason, this $1.49 super chat registered, I think, as like $149. Uh so yeah, I was like, whoa, dang. We got a new Hundo Club member. But yeah. Huh? 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 Oh man, I was like, whoa. But I so appreciate it. And you just joined the Patreon. There you go, man. Pressure was our top super chatter from last week. It's good to see you again, man. Do I see Coach Brian Kelly taking the LSU brand on a national or regional level in recruiting as more time passes? Okay. Good question. All right. Now, I am going to pull up this UL game because even though I've got Tennessee in so many freaking brackets, I would love nothing freaking more than the Cajuns to pull this off. The Fighting Billy Napiers. Freaking come on, UL. One time for your boy. They should, man, because your your concrete jobs are the best. I'm just trying to figure out how you went from crawfish business to concrete. That is so cool. And I'm still trying to figure out the pronunciation of your last name. I've honestly, Simper, never even tried. I love it though. Come on, UL. If y'all don't mind, I'm gonna watch you into this while chatting here. Tell them, Pressure. I'll tell you, nobody truly believes in LSU like Pressure. Come on, UL. Please beat the Vols. Please. Crawfish Company's booming. I'm gonna call them. We got to get some mud bugs going. Branson, Indiana. Hey, actually picked Indiana to win it all in her bracket. Oh, Tennessee has the ball. Okay, they just got to hit some free throws here. Oh, they stole. Oh, I thought they stole it for a second. Oh, man. So it's Huff Power. So you got power in your name too. Look at you. Look at you, Simper. I swear I love these live streams so freaking much, man. There's just no place I'd rather be than right here, right now. Okay. Oh, it's 2 shots, so it's not the 1-and-1. Yes, he missed it. Come on, Cajun Nation. Do this for Brandon Stokely. Do this for Elijah McGuire. Why are you holding up 2 fingers? Come on. Go quickly. You need a 3. Yes, right there. Shoot. That's game. Dang it. I would have loved to see nothing more than to see Tennessee lose. They said this game was going to be tight, though. Travel. Okay, no. It's over. Once we beat FSU, let's go. And once we beat USC the next year, let's go. Oh, he traveled. Isn't it crazy? So if you're like an NCAA nerd, okay, you know the historical significance of the throw that decided the game, right? So a few years ago, in 2019, ironically, all right, Virginia made the most ridiculous run in the NCAA tournament, and they missed a free throw versus Purdue. And the guy who threw the game away today, Kihei Clark, who threw it up against Furman, and they caught it and hit the game-winning 3, he made the best pass in NCAA tournament history. To tie the game and send it to overtime, where he chased down a ball in the backcourt as a freshman, chunked it up to an open shooter, and they tied it and went to overtime and won. Virginia's national championship run is going to be a 30 for 30, especially considering they now have the most embarrassing losses in NCAA tournament history. They had this one today where they chunk it up and then the only team to lose a 16-1. They lost last year to somebody. I don't even remember. So if you're a March Madness nerd, and I am, Kihei Clark made the best and worst pass in NCAA tournament history, arguably. Now I know there's people that will say, well, what about the pass to Chris Jenkins for the 3 versus North Carolina? I mean, that one, yeah, is better. Grant Hill to Leitner is definitely better. But that was not really a pass in during the course of action, right? The pass to Hill to Leitner was obviously a full court heave, but it was from out of bounds. So yeah, I guess Grant Hill, Leitner. I should have distinguished that. I was more so talking about the inbound or like during the course of action. There you go, Lil Simp, Huff Power. Dang, Texas A&M. I had them going far in my bracket. Daggum, I am going to get hurt with this one. I'm 16th in my own bracket pool. I mean, goodness gracious. God, Jared's got UCLA as well, and he's winning. I'm toast, bro. I had Texas A&M going to the Elite Eight. God, I'm cooked, bro. I'm cooked. Cooked. Cooked no matter what if Vermont doesn't make a run, though. I've got Texas A&M in my Final Four. Oh, my God. Please, somebody throw me into a molten pot of lava. Oh, man. I had Texas A&M in my Final Four. I am in my Final Four. I'm not telling you the name of my bracket, Branson Cat. I'm gonna let you guess because I am ashamed of that. Ashamed. And Texas A&M just bitched and moaned all last year. Well, we didn't get into the tournament. We didn't get in the tournament. Y'all lost 7 straight games. Y'all lost 7 straight games. No team should ever make any postseason tournament when you lose 7 straight games. I don't care the sport. It should be law in every sport. You're immediately disqualified from being a champion in any sport if you lose 7 straight games. Okay, and you wanted to get into the March Madness bracket? What? You lost 7 straight games. And this year, as a 7 seed, I thought that they were going to make a run. But no. Okay? I don't know what my comment was earlier for this comment, but good. It's every sport. It's every sport. There's a little Huff Power right there. Buzz, I should have never trusted you. Should have never trusted you. Just a poverty school. Poverty. Oh, and I'm watching it now. They were doing freaking dunks before the game. You're down by 23 in the NCAA tournament to a 10 seed. Buzz, please go light the program on fire after this. I mean, just poverty, man. Make them walk back to freaking, they're in Des Moines. By a Big Ten school. A Big Ten school. Can't have this happen. I'm telling you, this dude from Penn State's going to get hired by Georgetown. He's going to bring Georgetown back. Anybody that can bring Georgetown hoops back is a friend of mine. I'm the idiot that had A&M in the Final Four. Me. Donate my brain to science. What was that? Did y'all just see this? Air ball layup. Poverty school. Just light the program on fire. You saw it too, Mike. Thank you. Airballed an open layup. Poverty, dude. Just end the program. End it. Like I really feel bad for Texas A&M. That wasn't smooth at all. We choke in the tournament. Texas A&M. And we're gonna just please. Just don't get beat by 20. I'm furious right now. I am so mad I picked Texas A&M. Just light. I want to be lit on fire right now. Believing in them. Just please tell me why in the heck. Just why would I do this? Why would I do this? Tell me. Tell me why. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a mistake. A&M is like the brown bag lunch from middle school field trips. You will eat it if hungry, but not too appetizing. Huh? Oh, man. God, Penn State? Please, Georgetown, go hire that guy. Oh, my God. I mean, are you guys watching this program? LSU right now would be favored over this Texas A&M team by 50. Buzz Williams gets paid too much money. I can't freaking believe this. Can't freaking believe this. in my own bracket pool, Power Hour LSU. Pick Texas A&M to go to the Final Four. Please. I'm not allowed to have an opinion anymore on anything. Oh, my God. You've got to be kidding me. This is going to be one of the biggest blowouts in NCAA tournament history. Send me videos. That's going to be fun. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and sign off and do something with my life because that is just unfreaking believable that someone like me that looks at sports every day. Okay. Crazy. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. And tonight, we're doing Cajun pasta. Let's go.